How's it going, everyone? I'm Walt, the Film Hermit, and today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk about my 4K collection, and we're going to specify and look at my 4K collection from Paramount Pictures. Paramount Pictures is a studio that's been making films that I've loved pretty much my entire life. And when I first started collecting movies and got into movies, I started to learn about which studios were which, and I started to identify certain studios with certain franchises. Like for me, when I think of either Star Trek, I think of Paramount. When I think of like the Addams Family, I think of Paramount because I remember those were the marketing campaigns that came out when those films were released. So a lot of times when I do organize my collection, I organize them by studio, especially the kind of the big films. So we're gonna go through what I have for Paramount. I decided to start there first because without really planning to, I have almost the entire 4K collection, give or take about 5 titles or so. So we're gonna go through each section of the Paramount. I may do this video in sections because there's so many of them. I'm gonna start with the films that do not have slipcovers. Most collectors tend to want to get the film with the original slipcover when it comes out, but if you don't get it when it first comes out, a lot of times you miss out on that, and a lot of times people put them on eBay for like crazy money. So we're gonna go through this first because luckily I don't have that many that don't have slips. I only have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that don't have slipcovers. So we'll go through those first. So one thing I want to talk about is when 4K first came out, it's debatable whether the studios chose the right movies to launch their 4K collections. Paramount started on an okay foot. The first movie they released back in 2016 was the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek film, which I do have slipcover for, so we'll look at that later. But then a couple months later, the next movie they did, the third movie they came out with was this one. This is the sequel to the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm gonna be frank with you, I hate this movie. I'm ashamed that I actually own a copy of it. I remember when I was at the theater and I was watching it, I think I remember I was in the theater pretty much by myself. That's why I did this. I was kind of looking at my phone. That's how bad I thought it was. The only reason I picked up the 4K is because when I started looking at my Paramount collection and I saw I almost had all of them, when I saw this for a really low price, I figured why not pick it up. I don't remember how much I paid, but I know it wasn't full price, and whatever it was probably too much. So this came out, I believe, in September 2016, and I picked it up about maybe a year ago. Let me know what you think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films. Some people don't like the digital turtles. I don't mind the digital turtles. I just thought the dialogue and the script was really stupid. But, I mean, that's just me. Maybe if I was 10 years old, I'd feel better. But again, when I was 15 and the 1991 came out, I wasn't crazy about that one either. I was a big fan of the animated series, of the first animated series they did. And I've heard that the comic book series that these are based on was amazing, like the original black and white comics. But that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. So that's one of the ones I have without slipcover. You can probably get a slipcover on eBay for $30. That's not going to happen. Next movie I have from Paramount that doesn't have a slip is Pet Sematary. This is the original Pet Sematary that came out in, I believe, was it the 80s? No, it was 1989 that this movie came out. And I remember this movie creeped me out a lot when I was a kid. And when it came out on 4K, I didn't originally grab it up because I didn't think I needed it in the collection. But I've heard a lot of good things about it. I saw the new one, which I did get on 4K, and I like the new one. So I figured, I've got to have the original as well. And I like a lot of the Stephen King adaptations. So I need to watch it again as an adult and see what I think. I do know this film is closer to the book, and it's different from the new one that they made. But I didn't get a slipcover in this one. Just got this one recently for Amazon for a really good price. I think it was like a little bit close to $20 for a 4K, so not too bad. I'm gonna try to hold these the best I can without getting a glare from the plastic. I took them out of their plastic protectors, but there's still plastic on the Amray case. So this is Love and Monsters with Dylan O'Brien. This movie just from a few years ago. I had never seen it before. I just bought this one because the price had gone down on it and because it was a Paramount I didn't have. And I was delightfully surprised by this movie. This movie's actually pretty good. I really like the dog in this movie. If you are an avid dog person, you'll like this movie. It's a nice little comedy monster movie from I think this is about 2 or 3 years ago this came out. So then another one in my collection that I'm not proud of, but the only reason I got it because it was $10, Baywatch. I love Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He's great, but this movie not that good. But it was only $10. It was a Paramount that I didn't have. I only watched it one time. Maybe I was a little too hard on it, but I just didn't think it was that funny. But not the best movie from The Rock, honestly. Next one is going to be Downsizing. I got this movie because it was a 4K. It was only $6. And I just watched this for the first time last night. And I heard a lot of bad things about this movie. I heard a lot of bad things from a person that I don't speak to anymore. And I watched it and I was delightfully surprised how much I liked it. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it's kind of like when you watch a movie and your expectations are low and then you watch it and you're surprised. I think what happened with this film, the director, Alexander Payne, a lot of his movies get a lot of critical acclaim, and I guess people could not get around the sci-fi aspect of this movie and just were kind of too hard on it. I thought it was actually pretty good. It was something that kind of passed my time on a Saturday evening, and I liked it. So if you haven't seen it, I would say give it a chance. It came out back in 2017. I think a lot of the hate that was around this movie was around that time, but now I've noticed that sometimes if you watch movies after their release and you kind of give it some breath, and then there's not all that controversy around it anymore, people complaining about it, and you just kind of go in fresh, a lot of times your opinion could be, your own unique and not have any of the influence the media has been putting on you. So it's pretty good. And then I've got Daddy's Home 2, which I have not seen. This is another one I picked up because to round out the Paramount collection, and I got it for pretty cheap. It was a lot of the Paramount 4Ks, they went down dramatically on Amazon for a time. I was getting a lot of them for like $10. I think they'd made a lot of them and a lot of them hadn't sold and Amazon needed to move them. And I'm like, I'll pick them up. Why not? I think that has to go to a lot of the fact that Paramount didn't choose the best titles to start with. Like, I think Star Trek was strong, but starting with the second Ninja Turtles wasn't a good idea. And this one is the first Ninja Turtles movie. This movie was not released in the US. Let me try to get this in frame without the glare there. This wasn't released in the US. I had to import this from the UK. And the only reason I did was because for some reason Paramount had decided that the G.I. Joe movies and the first Ninja Turtles would only be released in the UK. And then you had to import them from the UK to get them, but then they were only available digitally. So I kind of got in this real mode of like, I'm not supposed to have it, I want to get it. And then I got it and I was like, I don't really love this movie. I don't hate this movie. Personally, I think this one is better than the 1990 version, but the reason I didn't like the 1990 version when I was 15, they do the same thing in this movie. So it's not much better. It just has newer effects. But again, I haven't seen it in a few years. I'm sure if I gave it a second chance, I'd probably still not like it very much, but it's in the collection. So those are going to be my releases that do not have slipcovers. I took a look at some of the prices on eBay for them, and they're all $30 or more to get a slipcover, and that's not going to happen. I don't think a lot of those titles are worth it. I forgot to mention that because this is a UK release, there was no slipcover that came with this. It comes in a thicker case. So if any of you guys are collecting Paramount like I do, and you wanted to get the first Ninja Turtles, you like it better than the second, you don't understand why they never released it, you can just import it. I got it on Zavi.com. Okay, so as I was going through the video, I decided that I'm gonna do these Paramount videos in separate videos because there's just so many discs to go through. So that's the end of my Blu-ray 4K collection from Paramount that does not have slipcovers. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel so much. Thank you guys for all watching, and you all have a good day. Stay safe. Bye.